Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Gold League. That's right, Osborne here, bringing you another lower-level matchup. This is a Gold League matchup, Protoss versus Protoss, mirror matchup, PvP, the least liked mirror matchup, but the new patch just came out. I'm going to give it a shot, and I'm going to tell you guys all about the new patch, and if you see anything that might have been affected by it in this matchup. I'm not sure if there's, I think there was like, well, I mean, the chances of there being a 3-gate robo or a 4-gate in a PvP, pretty high. Unless they just go straight 4-gate versus 4-gate. I think it's more of like who's going to get a scout out first. Speaking of who's going to get a scout out first, and also introducing the players, down at the bottom left-hand corner, we've got Spedsterr. Speedster's slightly slower brother and doesn't really know how to spell too well, but that's okay. He's going to get that probe out. He's going to go straight for imbaChrisJie. I'm just going to call him Chris, because Imba is a actual clan that is pretty good. And anyone who follows esports, which you should because esports is awesome, would know about them, and they're pretty good. But anyway, Spedsterr gets up into Chris's base and starts scouting around, going to try and be annoying, block some gateway making. It's a strange word. It's very difficult to say that, obviously. Oh, it's strange. Anyway, we've got the scouting probe coming up. Going to see if there's any assimilators or how many probes he's got going up. Heavy chrono boosted probes out of Chris's nexus. And he is going to apparently pull all of his probes to kill that one. He's going to deny mining for at least a couple seconds. And that's actually not the best thing for Chris to do. You only want to pull maybe like 2 or 3, the very least amount that you can possibly afford. Speaking of which, affording things, Chris's probe has just come down and stolen the Vespian Geyser right out from Spedster's nose. So Spedster's going to be stuck on one assimilator for quite a little bit. He'll probably try and go for a 4-gate, because otherwise, if you want to go for a 3-gate robo, usually the robotics base units are a bit more gas heavy. So if you want to go for a lean build, you might want to try and go for a 4-gate. Which is, you know, a perfectly legitimate strategy in a PvP matchup against a Protoss player, especially in such close positions. I mean, the bases actually kind of twist and turn and go around, and then you go up here, and then you twist and turn again, but it's still pretty close. It's closer than it would be over here, I think. Yeah. I mean, it could technically be closer if someone took the time to break these rocks, but I don't think it's going to happen in a PvP, at least not in this style of a PvP, because he could technically get in here, take out these rocks, but, I mean, the difference between this and this is really just positioning for an army, not so much length of travel. Anyway, Backwater Gulch is the map, that if I have not mentioned that yet. The main features of this map happen to be all in about this area right here. 2 Xel'Naga watchtowers that can see each other, and also both can see these 2 gold expansions. So if you get control of the center of the map, you will be in a very, very good position, especially if you're Terran. Because Terran, with their siege tanks, you put 2 siege tanks here and here, here and there, it's just like they will take out anything that you want. There's going to be no mining going on in the gold. The assimilator finally going down, and Spedsterr will finally put his up. So far right now, it's only a 1 sentry and 1 zealot, and Spedsterr doesn't have that much minerals or gas at the moment. Let's see what their army is supply at. Spedsterr has quite a bit more workers at the moment, though, and that's going to be a very, very big deal if this game goes any farther than the first 8 minutes, which in PvP, that's quite a blessing if it does. Usually it's 1 guy 4 gates, 1 guy 3-gate robos, and then we just see who can micro better with force field and other type things. Not a bad partial wall off by Chris, just enough to put a zealot right in here and block off any kind of big entrance. Usually you don't see too many wall-offs against other Protoss, but as I say this, there's 3 zealots coming in, getting past the no wall-off, and getting into the probe line, doing a pretty good job, but being taken out by the Stalker and 2 zealots. How many did he kill? I think he killed 3. 3 in that actually he only killed 2 because one of those workers killed was the scouting worker. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. That makes sense. And spedsterr not doing what I said he was. He's actually going for a 3-gate robo as opposed to a 4-gate. Swarping in 2 more stalkers. He doesn't have quite enough minerals to be able to support 3-gate robo at the time. I think he needs a bit more. But a expansion coming up and some DTs getting thrown back because of that observer. So that 3-gate robo definitely helped him out against that Dark Templar play. Shockingly enough, not a 4-gate. Oh yes, it is a 4-gate now, but he spent a lot of time and a lot of resources teching up to Dark Templar, and it doesn't look like it's going to do too much damage because that observer is just hanging out right there, and there's no way for those Dark Templar to come around and get into the mineral line, at least not unless he's got a pylon that he can warp up onto the high ground. But it looks like spedsterr has quite a bit of I want to say map control would be a good one. Gonna try and pick off those Dark Templar, but they get away. Take control of those Xel'Naga watchtowers. 2 more Dark Templar are gonna come in and try and sneak around, but there is another observer, and they're not just gonna get thrown back, I believe. But wait, no, they're gonna run straight by it and into the probe line. Uh-oh. That's not good. Oh wait, they turn around. And they're gonna try and... No, they turn around again. I don't know what he's doing. I'm confused. But he's gonna get into the mineral line and just completely destroy... What is that, 8? I think he got 8 more probes there. 4 strikes, yeah. 7. 7 more kills, which is a very, very, very good thing for Chris, because that might have evened out the... I think, yes, exactly. It's now exactly even with the workers. Although spedsterr is getting up his Nexus, he does have a Nexus up. He can double produce probes should he choose to. Let's see what the production tab says. I haven't had it up. That's very, very bad of me. Charge just now completing for Chris, so that'll give him I guess it would have given him an advantage if he had any Zealots, but he's making mostly Dark Templar now. He should make some Zealots because he's got a whole bunch of minerals and not a lot of gas because he's spending all that gas on the Dark Templar, warping them in over here. 6 Dark Templar at the moment with 2 Zealots and a probe on that forward pylon. Another forward pylon down here. Forward pylon for spedsterr down at the Xel'Naga watchtower, and taking out a warp gate and probably the cybernetics core. It's going to take care of any kind of air units. They're going to have no upgrades for them. Going to try and take out these pylons. Pylon sniping. But in the meantime, Chris is just coming down with all those Dark Templar, and he's just doing crazy damage. Amazing amounts of damage from those Dark Templar. They do what? 60 a swipe? 45 a swipe. Is it only 45? I think when they're upgraded, they get like 60 or something. It's like ridiculous. So they're just going to come in here and just one-shot all these probes. And going to go up into the Nexus. One bad thing about that Nexus is it's got full energy. You should try and maybe use up all those energies on the warp gates. Chrono boost them out. More Dark Templar coming up, and in the meantime, all these probes are just flying away. Floating away? They're just kind of hovering away. But in the meantime, spedsterr is going to try and take out this Nexus as well, which is bad because Chris doesn't have another Nexus. He only has this one. He's going to be revealed. Everything's going to show where those pylons are. It's going to be just like a base race. And I know nobody likes base races, but this is actually a pretty intriguing one because it's got Dark Templar, it's got probes, it's got a whole bunch of intrigue all up in here. It looks like Chris is gonna make gonna swap bases with him, gonna put a Nexus down in spedsterr's old base, and I can only imagine that the reason that these probes are going to come up here is because he was going to use the exact same reason. Dark Shrine goes down, so no more Dark Templar. Twilight Council will also go down, so Blink will not be an option, but I don't believe that he had it in his plan to begin with. He's going to try and take him down so he doesn't have view of the map. 2 very, very unpowered warp gates, some stalkers. So there's basically going to be some stalkers. Does he have another observer? He has 2 observers out. So he is actually in a good spot to take out those Dark Templar, because those Dark Templar do not have that much health. That's their Achilles heel, if you will. If you hit them, they will die rather easily. But if they hit you, you'll probably die faster. You can see the Dark Templar taking out this pylon. Doesn't quite know yet that there is a nexus coming up for spedsterr. And so the base trade is complete. They are officially in each other's bases, and I can only assume that they will attempt to mine and rebuild. I don't know how effective that'll be, because there's just a big thing of Dark Templar and a big thing of Stalkers. It's going to come down to positioning, and Chris is going to go up this ramp but get blocked. No, bad force field by spedsterr. That's not going to block anything off, and he is going to lose a lot of Stalkers to these Dark Templar because they just do so much damage. Try and pick off one, not focusing fire down though. One Dark Templar goes down. Oh man, this is a micro battle, but there are 3-4 Dark Templar and a Zealot with some probes, and they is going to retreat. He's going to try and pick off another Dark Templar, but he won't quite get it, and he's going to bring that both observers with him. Chris just putting pylons down crazily all over the map to try and stay alive and see if he can't win this still actually a base race, because there's no production coming down. I mean, I finally remember to bring up the production tab, and there's no production, so go figure. I'm going to leave a well-placed observer right here so you can see if there's any kind of Dark Templar going to try and move in on the mineral line, try and get a kind of sentry warning. It's kind of interesting. A sentry it doesn't really act like a sentry, does it? It's way too weak and not fast at all. Maybe they should like rename it. Rename the sentry. Anybody who wants to know, anybody who wants to try and put a comment down on what they think the sentry should be named as opposed to what it is now, because honestly, as a sentry, it's not very good. I mean, the hallucinations it does are pretty good as a sentry, but the sentry itself, very weak, and it doesn't go very fast. It gets picked off by a lot of things that I've seen. Chris retreating back to the mineral line, pulling all of his probes, canceling that pylon, and this is going to be a micro battle once again. spedsterr trying to micro his stalkers out. That stalker's going to get picked off, and he just dies so fast to those Dark Templar. But those Dark Templar, pretty much all of them except one, are permanently damaged. Shields are up, but it might be a bad thing to have those things. And he's actually picking off the Dark Templar, specifically targeting them down. And they're pretty close, though. Stalkers are usually pretty fast. Oh, get some probes getting a shot off on the Stalkers. That's funny. Stalkers trying to lead them back to their base, maybe to try and so that they can also pull probes. Actually, no, he's pulling them out, but Chris will not be fooled by it. He is going to go straight for the mineral line and the nexus to try and get these done, but there is an observer right with him, so I don't know how wise of an idea this is. One probe goes down. How many? What's here? 9 units for Chris. spedsterr pulls all of his probes back and around, pulls the probes off the nexus, and then the Dark Templar come off, and they go right back. This is not good. They're gonna get picked off. One Dark Templar go down, one probe goes down, another probe goes down, and now he's finally picking off the Dark Templar, and that's GG for Chris. spedsterr wins this one in a very, very interesting game with Dark Templar, the double GG, quadruple G, and he leaves the game. Well, this has been Osborne bringing you this Protoss versus Protoss matchup on the Backwater Gulch Gold League. I hope to see you guys again. See you later.